If you can hear me, just ping me yes or no in the chat window. We'll be starting in next 4-5 minutes when others join in. Hi Pradeep, hi Pawan, hi Jignesh, hi Zubair. I can see you all. We'll be starting in the next 3-4 minutes, 3-4 more minutes. Pradeep, just give me a minute. I'll take the question. Just give me a minute. Let others also join in. We'll take the questions. Just wait for 2-3 more minutes. So, Jignesh, regarding the PPTs, I'll be sharing you the PPTs in the same folder as soon as the topic is completed. So, as MapReduce topic was not completed, I have not shared that PPT. Once the MapReduce topic is completed, I'll share the same PPT in the same folder. So, today end of the class, the MapReduce PPT would be shared in the same folder. So I have not shared because if you move ahead, I have some questions and build in the slides and things like that. So that just distract the interaction in the class a little bit. That's all. No other reason. So I'll be sharing those PPTs with you as soon as this topic will be covered. So and all the PPTs would be shared in the same folder as soon as the topics would be covered. So Jignesh was just asking me a question. He was not able to see the PPTs for the MapReduce part. So I will be sharing it. I'll be sharing it after the session. So Zubair, I've just muted you. I'll request everyone to be on mute. And when you want to speak, you can speak up. And we'll wait for 2-3 more minutes before starting up. Then Pradeep, I'll also take your question. And now Pradeep will not be doing the redo from the last session, but if you have any queries, definitely I'll ask. We can definitely take care of them. Will not do any redo of the session. If you have not understood anything, do let me know. We can definitely do a recook on that part. You guys, I was speaking on mute. So I'm just waiting for Vikram also to join in, and then we'll start. Emily would not be joining in today. So I think there was a little confusion with some of you. I requested for the half an hour early session, but as I have not got response from all of you as a confirmation mail, So I have not rescheduled the class and not sent any rescheduling invite. So that might have created confusion with, I think, some of you. So apologies for that. If everyone is okay for preponing the class half an hour, I'll definitely do that. But as I have not received any confirmation from everyone, so I have not rescheduled it. So yeah, let's start then. Good morning, everyone. I hope what we discussed in the previous class, you remember some of those parts, if not everything. So Pradeep, you had some question. Yeah, you can go ahead and then we'll just do a quick recap of what we discussed and then we'll go proceed further on the MapReduce part. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, so Zubair is a new one in the session. So he was taking the weekday sessions with me, but due to some clashes with his classes and things like that, he requested to move on to the weekend session. So Zubair is a new one. Everyone else is from the previous batch only. So that's only. So okay, sure. So any questions from the previous things which we discussed in our last sessions, last two sessions, before I go ahead? Okay, so if you can just quickly say ping me yes or okay, sure, Pradeep. So I was saying you can just quickly ping me yes or no. Are you able to set up your environment? Are you facing any issues with the setting up the environment? Are you able to were you able to install or start the VM at least? Jignesh says he was able to install the VM. Pawan, Pradeep. Okay. Pawan says, Pawan, I would just request you to reply on the same chat window. Otherwise, it becomes a little bit confusing for me where the thing is coming. So Skype we can use when we are disconnected on this. Sorry for that. Otherwise, I sometimes have to look at where the thing is came. The voice comes on it, but thanks. Pawan says, I had some issues setting up. Okay. Pradeep says, I was able to set up and log in using the, oh, cool, great. So Zubair, I hope you had looked at one of the previous recordings in your previous class I've shared with you. If you have gone with that, hopefully you would also be able to install the VM. If not, just ping me yes or no on the chat window. Pawan, if you can just email me the error which you are facing, I can help you. Or if it's a quick thing, you can type it over here. I can help you. And if you think there's some particular issues, and we can chat offline and resolve your issues. Oh, sure, Pawan, you can email me, and then we'll discuss about that. Zubair had shared the recorded session link of my previous class in your weekday session. I've shared that link with you. Hopefully, I think you have seen that. If you have not seen that, please go to that shared link and you will be able to understand what I'm talking about, the installation. If you are still unable to understand, you can drop me an email and I will definitely help you on that part. Okay, so Zubair also says, okay, Pawan says he'll email me the issue which is facing. Sure. Okay. Hi, Vikram. Hope you can hear me. You can just quickly ping yes or no.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm good.
sure. So we were just discussing what about any questions or anyone have anything, and was everyone able to install the VM and then software. So Vikram, you can also ping yes or no on the chat window if you are able to install the VM and at least able to get in the environment, or if you are facing any issues, you can email me the issue and we can discuss it offline if it's something particular thing which you are facing with the installation. Okay, so in the last class we discussed about Vikram, you can just ping me at the back end on the chat window regarding my question. Everyone else has was able to install it other than Pawan. So guys, we discussed about three phases in map and reduce. Do anyone want to talk about them? What are the three phases which happens in map and reduce phase, and how the key and value pair flows across from your input data to your output data? Yeah, Pradeep, I'll recap all the things, but I'll request you to, look back, think a little bit. If you are not able to answer it, I'll definitely answer the question which I'm asking, and I will try my best to recap all the things which we covered in last two sessions, so that you can recall. So I'll try to ask the questions. We'll have a quiz, a small quiz, where I'll request you to recap what we did. If you are not able to answer that, then definitely I'll answer that question. So, Jignesh, the sessions are recorded. If you want the recording of any of the session which you have missed, or if you want to look back again, you can just drop an email to admin@designpathshala.com, and you can CC me also, and I'll get the recordings available to you. Okay, so yeah, Pradeep, I'll be sharing my screen once we have a quick recap of what we discussed in the previous session, and then I'll share my screen. So I've not shared my screen till now. So my question was, do anyone want to answer what are the three phases in MapReduce part? At least try to think what are the three stages. Your answer might be wrong, but at least just try to give it a recap. So Jignesh says map, shorten, server, and reducer. Yeah, that's a perfect answer. So how the values are passed from mapper phase to reducer phase? If map has a particular key type and value type which is produced from the map class, how the whole flow happens from mapper to reducer phase? Do anyone want to explain that part? Pradeep says one mapper per spread. Yes, that's the first thing. The file is read from your file system, and a mapper is created for each split. And then what is the next step which happens? Anyone want to come on here and want to explain it? What happens? You might not be 100% correct, but at least want to give it a try. So Pradeep says mapping done using a key and value pair. Yes, that's the next thing which happens in the system. Okay, let me share my screen. That might give you a quick recap. And anyone want to talk after that? Sure, Vikram, you can try it out, and if you face any issues, you can just let me know regarding any of the issues. So I'll just quickly share my screen if that recalls you what happens in the map and reducer phase. And anyone want to answer after that? So I'll just quickly share my PPT in a sec. So I hope this will give you a quick recap what we discussed in the previous session. How the key value pair flows from mapper to reducer phase. Now, anyone want to explain what happened over here, or shall I go ahead and quickly recap the thing? So Pradeep says short and shuffle mapping. Yeah, mapping done phase and system short and shuffle. Okay, Pawan says go ahead, please. Okay, Pawan, I'll go ahead, but I just wanted if someone can recall the thing. Pradeep, do you want to explain? Can I bring you on here? Okay, I'll just unmute you. Hi, Pradeep.
Yeah, hi. So the way I understood this is initially the data is mapped based on certain key value pairs. I mean, there is an algorithm. There are many algorithms which can take a set of data and then be able to assign a key value pair for it. And you kind of gave us one example of the color count, where where blue is the key, but then there is a specific value for that. And then after that, then there is this shuffling and sorting to make sure that all the right keys go to all the right key value pairs go into the right bucket. And then after that you have the reduce function which will take that and then do some whatever is your mathematical function, and then like it could be summing, it could be average, whatever, and then finally you get an output based on what your original requirement was for that operation. Or basically, what question were you trying to answer?
Yes, I think that's a perfectly correct answer, and I think that's a very good quick recap of what we discussed, at least on the map reduce side, how the whole data flows happen. So I also recap on this part, and yeah, I think Pradeep, that was perfectly correct answer. Thanks for that. So I'll just mute you again. So yes, what happens up is we read the data. Data is read with different things which happen at the backend. We'll talk about those things: record reader, input text format reader, and things like that. We'll look into those things. But somehow this data is read from the file system, and with some magic which happens at the backend for you. The key and value pairs are given to your mapper phase. That is a map function of your map class. The map function gets key and value pair. It plays on those key and value pair, does your mathematical calculation, whatsoever you want to do, and produces another output that is again in a key and value format. So here the input came as apple, orange, mango, and some key also would be assigned to this input. That key is ignored, and that's the reason that key is not displayed in this example. So that key is ignored, and the mapper produces an output something like apple, 1, orange, 1, and mango, 1. Here apple, orange, and mango are keys, and these key and value pair now from the mapper phase is produced and goes to a short and shuffle phase. Short and shuffle phase basically, as the name itself signifies, it sorts your data and shuffles your data. And shuffle basic is what it does is it checks whether the data which is belonging to a particular hash bucket goes to the corresponding hash bucket, and there's a reducer which is listening on that hash bucket, or there's a reducer associated to a hash bucket. I should not say listening, but there's a reducer which is associated to that hash bucket, and all the keys which are emitted from the mapper which belong to a particular hash bucket will definitely go to the corresponding reducer. And then we apply the mathematical formula on the reduce side. So here the mathematical formula was sum up all the values corresponding to a given key. So we summed up all the values to the corresponding to a given key, which is apple, and we produces an output something like apple, 4. So this is what MapReduce phase does, and I hope this gives a quick recap. Anyone has any questions on this part? This gives you a quick recap. I'll just cross check what we discussed over here also. And before that, in the previous thing, what we discussed was 3 ways how to read your data. Anyone want to answer there? What are the 3 ways which we talked about, where how I can read the data, how I can look into the data? One was your UI. Another was I looked into from the command prompt by giving a command called something, something, something. Anyone remember that command? Something, something, something. Yeah, Pradeep, that's right. Hadoop space fs and then minus cat or ls or anything. I can look into the Hadoop based file system. And then we looked into the Java code also, from where also if we want to browse, we can browse the file system. So these are the 3 things which we discussed, how we can look into the file system. And prior to that, we discussed something called job tracker, task tracker. I hope everyone remembers that. Do anyone want to explain what is a task tracker, job tracker? That will give you a recap of what we discussed in the last Saturday's class. No contestant. Okay, I'll just quickly in 2 lines I'll explain those things and we'll go. So Pradeep says job tracker is a brain. Yeah, job tracker is almost a brain, and that does all the things for you. So all the tasks are first coming to a job tracker, and then it goes to a task tracker which sits on the individual nodes. Yes, that's correct. Sure, that's I think that's perfectly correct answer. So this is what we discussed, and then we looked into a MapReduce program, and I shown you a quick program how I did the word count, which we discussed in this program, how we did a word count of different words appearing in a file, and we looked into the different words and how we did a word count of this program. So Pawan says job tracker is a daemon running on per Hadoop cluster. Yeah, there will be one job tracker which will be running per Hadoop cluster, and there will be multiple instances of your task tracker which will be running individually on the data node per one. But in Yarn world, that is Hadoop 2.x, so there's little difference. So I'll talk about that thing, I think probably in the tomorrow's class. So did anyone tried running a MapReduce program? Anyone got any success in running the MapReduce program? No answer. Looks like no one tried running the MapReduce program. Sure, Pradeep, you can try it after today's class. Also, I'll try to dedicate at least half an hour to 45 minutes in today's class, so that the people who have at least installed the VM are able to try to run it, and others who are facing some issues. In the meanwhile, I'll help them to install the VM, so that everyone is on the right is on the same milestone. So this is all what we discussed. Then let's look into the MapReduce features. I hope I will left over here somewhere here only in the last class. If we covered this part, or just ping me, I'll skip it. But as I can recall, I think we left over here only. So now, as you understand, the mapper runs somewhere remotely on your data node, and reducer also runs somewhere remotely on your data node. So Pradeep, I'm not sure what you did not got it. Just ping me in the detail of the chat window. So what I was saying is, I hope I left over here only. So MapReduce task improve the load balancing, and now I hope everyone understands how it improves the load balancing. Your data is distributed across the nodes, and your mapper task and reducer task runs parallelly across the nodes on the different data blocks, and this is how we do a load balancing across the cluster. Fast track recovery from failed tasks. So if the task fails, job tracker tries to relaunch the same task for the corresponding data block on some other correct data nodes. So this is how your faster recovery from failed task happens. Oh, okay, sure. That was for Pradeep. Automatic re-execution on failure. They were saying it. The task tracker checks it if the task failed and will try to relaunch for corresponding corrupted block. When it try to run it next time, it will also take care the data node where the task has failed or where the particular part of task has failed. It will try to avoid those nodes in order to basically in order to make sure that the task is now being ran on some different data node and there was no issues related to data node on while running the task rather than for that was related to some data or something like that. So it tries that intelligently at the backend for you. And locality optimizations, as I was keep on saying, where the data is lying or where your block of data is lying, the task will be ran on that particular node so that the data transfer across the network is very less. So the mapper and reducer which are triggered on corresponding data nodes are triggered keeping in intelligence that the corresponding block on which this mapper or reducer has been triggered is lying on that particular data node. There might be some in-between data transfers. And now I'll explain you those things. And in previous class, we did not talk about the split. The reason behind that I wanted to understand you people how the MapReduce works. And then only it makes sense to understand the split part. So because of splits and because of things like that, there could be some little data transfers, but it tries to localize your optimization as much as possible. So anyone, I think most of you are from Java background. Anyone want to tell what is serialization in Java? Yeah, my question is what is serialization in Java? Anyone want to explain? Vikram says store an object state as a binary. Yep. Could you little bit elaborate on it more, little bit more, how it helps, why serialization is really required? So Pradeep says it takes any data in the memory and serializes it to binary. Yes, and what is the next step? What we do is we can read that data anytime and we can deserialize it and we can reinitiate the object which was persisted. So serialization basically helps us into serializing or persisting a state of an object in Java, and later on whensoever required we can deserialize it and reinitiate the object. Anyone does not understand anything in this definition, do ping me. I hope you understand what is an object serialization, basically putting or persisting anything in your file system or database or anywhere and reinitiating that thing as an object. So this is a life cycle of an object which I'm talking about in serialization. If anyone don't understand that, just ping me over chat window. So same to what is serialization in Java, we talk about write table in Hadoop world. So all your objects which need to be initiated or which are read from your file system and again placed into the file system has to implement write table. So all your values which you read from your file system and reprocess them or re-put your data into the file system after creating process into MapReduce field are to be write table. And all your keys are again read from your data, are again read from your file system and written back to your HDFS file system. But they are also sorted in your shuffle and sort phase. So they have to be comparable also. Everyone understand what is comparable interface or comparable? So comparable is an object or is an object which could be compared to each other. So say for example, I create two objects of employee class. Wherever you think I'm going little bit technically or inside the oops concept or you are not able to understand it, just ping me up. I'll try to explain that or make it more understandable. Wherever you are not able to understand it or you think I'm going deeper into Java side or object oriented side, just ping me up. So comparable objects is said to be a comparable. So say for example, there are two objects called of employee class. One object is of employee say Pradeep and another employee is of say employee Jignesh. So and I want to compare the employees based on their say joining date. So say Pradeep's joining date is 1st of January 2015 and Jignesh joining date is say 31st of December 2014. So when I'll be comparing these two objects, Jignesh would be bigger than Pradeep. So as Jignesh joined first. So there has to be some compare function in my object class which could do such kind of comparison. So any objects which you want to compare. So why the comparison function is required? Because I'm sorting these objects in my sort and shuffle phase. So that's the reason all your keys are to be writable as well as comparable. However, your values are to be writable. Make sense? Could you just quickly ping yes or no on the chat window? Pawan says yes. Jubil says yes. Pradeep also says yes. Okay, so I'll assume yes from others also. So these are the different data types which are available for us to play with. Boolean, I just reduced this, sorry. So Boolean, byte, double, float, int, long, text, null, and you can also create your custom writables by implementing the corresponding interfaces. And the rest all are very, very common. I hope that it's all self-explanatory. If anyone is not able to understand any of these terms, do ping me up. But all of them are almost self-explanatory. Boolean, byte, double, float, int, long, text, null. So these are the different kind of data types which are available for me to play with my data, and almost each of the data, if almost all of your data could be either fit in any of these. If not, you can create your own writable classes. All you have to do is just implement the writable interface and then create, if it is key, or you also implement writable comparable, and then you can create your own writable classes. So I'll be going little bit into a deeper MapReduce class phase today. Those who are not from the Java background are just trying to understand the concepts. You need not to understand the Java related thing. You need not to understand the code related thing. But if you understand this concept, this will be very, very useful for you when we're discussing the different file formats, how to use the file formats, how to use the compression, how to optimize your Hive queries, how to optimize your pick things, how at the backend Hive and pick works. So all of these things would be very, very easy for you if you understand at least the concept part. Don't worry about the Java part which I'm talking about, but this will make you understanding in the Hive and Pig world and Hadoop streaming. So all of those things will be very easy for you to understand what is happening at the backend, because at the backend those things will be triggering your MapReduce code. So if you at least understand the concept of MapReduce, this will be very, very easy for you to on those things, because you then you could be able to visualize what is happening at the backend, what kind of map and reduce code is created at the backend. So even if you are not able to follow the Java part, I am least worried about that thing. But what I'm worried about is you get the concept. So as I was saying, you writable comparable. You have to your keys has to be comparable so that they can be sorted in your sort and shuffle phase in an ascending order. Okay, then input split size. Okay, now let me come on to the input split. So how this input split works and what is split? So your file, this is your file. So this is say one block of your file, or it could be 2 or 3 blocks, so whatever you want to think of. This is one file which has 3 blocks, and this is the first block, this is the second block, this is the third block, and I've said that a split size is equivalent to block. So this is a split which is equivalent to this block. This is a split again created for this block, and this is a new split created for this block, and this is another file which is input for the same MapReduce algorithm. There could be n number of files lying in a folder, and all of those could be input to your MapReduce program. So this is another file lying over there, and this is a one block only. So this is the fourth split which is created. Now this split are read with your record reader, which is the interface which comes in between your mapper and split. So for each record in your split, record reader reads that record and calls the map function on the mapper class. The map function which we discussed over here, the map function. So this map function of your this mapper class, there is one mapper created for a split, and for each record in the split, the mapper's map function is called with the corresponding key and value pair. So let's try to understand this part. This is pretty interesting and very useful for you in the optimization part. So I'll open an Excel sheet and we'll try to explain you furthermore how the split looks like and how the data spans occurs across the blocks. So just let me switch over to Excel. Give me a sec. So if you are not able to see my Excel sheet, just ping me on the chat window. Otherwise, I'll assume you are able to see my Excel sheet. So say my data was something like apple, orange, pulp, and pulp, orange, grapes, so this is your say block 1, this is your say block 2, this is your say block 3. Okay, now this is half over here and ES comes over here. And say this is half over here and this part of grapes goes to your next block. This can happen, everyone agrees on this part, this can happen practically at the back end. These are your blocks and this is the data inside the block, and this can practically happen with your data. Everyone agrees to this part? Okay, Zubair says, no, this is long back. Okay, Pradeep said yes, Pawan said, Pradeep says yes, Jignesh says yes, okay, everyone says yes. This can practically happen to your blocks. Then there is a split to this block, 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 and there is a split for this block. But practically the split is logical distribution of the data and the block is your physical distribution of the data, as I was keep on saying from the last 2-3 classes. So this is how your split will not look like. How your split would look like is something like this. So this split is definitely aligned to your V1 and it will look definitely like this. So I'll make it color yellow. But this split would not be like this. This would be, so say this, 1 minute, just give me a sec. Control C, Control V. So I'll just quickly merge these two cells. Okay, so this S2 would be something like this. I'll make it another color. And what it will be reading from here is just ES, nothing else. And this S3 would be again split over here. So I'll merge it. And this would be your So this will be your logical distribution of data. What is logical distribution over here is my each record is separated by /n. So if you know, I have a plus enter over here, or I can say /n over here. This is what is lying over here. This is again /n which is lying over here. New line character, enter was there. /n is available over here. So this is the record boundary. Then there is no /n, so there is no record boundary. So it will search for the record boundary in the next block corresponding to this file, and it will find it over here. So this split would be splitted. This split will be reading from two blocks, block B2 as well as apart from block B3. And there is a /n over here. So there is one record, and there is no /n, so there is no the record is not over. So this again split will be this split will again span over two blocks, and that is B4. So does that make sense? A split is a logical distribution of data, and if the data or your whole record is not covered in the block which has been read by the current split, there could be some network bandwidth or network usage to get a part of your data from another mapper which is running somewhere, and that part data will travel across a network to the corresponding mapper or reducer, whomsoever is reading that data, and that data will be visible to the corresponding map or reduce function, map function in the case of a split. And this is what a split is. A split is nothing but a logical distribution of the data, and the block is a physical distribution of data. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope yes. Now then for each record, so a map function of a mapper will be called. So how your map function will be called? First time map function will be called. Say for a time being, there is a text input record reader, which is a default file. I'll talk about that thing in detail in the next few minutes. How that reads the data is that creates some binary offset of your record, and the value is nothing but your whole text. So first time your mapper will be called with say 123, the binary offset for the first row, and the row as a value. So this is how your map function will be called first time for this record, and the next time your map function will be called, say the binary offset for the second record is something 140. I'll just talk about that thing, what is that, and the value would be in this case is. So this is how your mapper function will be called for each record from your input data. So the input data is read by your the interface split between your input data and your record data.
Hey, I have a quick question.
Just give me a sec. Let me cover it. Just give me.
No.
Just a sec, Pradeep. So just give me a minute. This mapper function will be called for each record in that block or in that split, and the boundary of your record is /n or new line by default, and everything is configurable, and based on your configuration thing, these all things record boundaries could be changed rather than /n. And key and value pair, how they are read. In this case, I have assumed the default key value pair reader is there, which I'll just talk in the next few minutes. Otherwise, again, how the key and value pair are created when the data is read from a file, that is again is everything configurable, and you can change the classes and things related to that. So we'll talk that those things in the next few slides, so don't worry about them. Yeah, Pradeep, go ahead, please.
I was just going to ask you B2 and B3.
Mm-hmm.
So those two blocks, they all belong to the same split S2, correct?
Practically yes, but not. So S2 is nothing. S2 is practically for the B2 only, but there is a part of this data which is not available in this block 2. So it will communicate to this data node D3, and will request the data node, please give me the part which is after this P, and the record boundary of that block is /n. So it will just read the initial few bytes of this block till it does not reaches /n, and will return that data to your S2, that is your data node 2, and then this task tracker which is running on your data node 2 will run for this whole block, pulp, orange, and whole grapes world.
Right. So what you are trying to say is, I'm just trying to get the concept here. So you're trying to tell that your data, or what you consider S2, which is a logical split of your data, is actually physically residing in two data blocks because it is a big file or something. That's what you're trying to say, right?
Yes.
And similarly, you're saying, again, split 3, which is your logical split of data, is actually residing in two physical blocks.
Yes. So say this is whole block, but this data is somewhere over here, and this is your data. So this is a whole block, but this is how your data is.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. This makes it all the more clearer. Thank
Yeah,
you.
now it makes more clear, right? These colors are different blocks. Okay. So this is your block, whole block, but your S2 is over here till now. And from this block, it is just reading this data. So this is how your input split comes in picture, and that's the reason I will just keep on saying input split, but I have not explained you, and that's the reason I wanted you to understand the MapReduce part. Before that, it does not make any sense for me to explain how the input splits or the split really plays its role at the back end for you. So as you so in this case, do anyone want to answer how many mappers will be initiated for me? How many instances of mappers would be created for me? How many mappers would be created for me? Jignesh, Vikram, Jubair, you are very quiet. Anyone want to go ahead? Anyone want to answer? Just a guess. Okay, so guys, as I was keep on saying, the number of mappers is equivalent to number of splits, and as I was showing in the previous slide, so there will be 3 mappers which will be created. One mapper over here, one mapper over here, and your one mapper over here. And map function would be called for each of the mappers similar to this. The data and value which it passes might be a little different, and similarly over here. And the value would be these values, not these values. Any questions on this part? So this is how your input splits comes in picture, and the record reader reads each record or record by record from an input split and passes that to your mapper function, and the mapper then plays its role. And this is how the key and value are really created in the backend for you, and those key and value pairs are being transferred to your map phase. And how these keys and values are created from different classes, I'll talk about this thing. So reading the data we have just talked about. Record reader extracts your key and value pairs, record from the input source. How those are extracted from the source. This is how there's one more class which comes in picture at the backend for you. That is called file input format. So by default, if you don't define any input format, it assumes your file input format is text input format. And the text input format, the default separator for the record is /n, as I was showing you in the previous example. So it will assume my records are separated by /n, and each text which is separated by /n is a record entity. And key is nothing but a byte offset of your record. What is byte offset? Is just a byte from the initial position till this record has started. So byte offset is nothing but the physical position of that value in the corresponding block. So that is a byte offset, and that would be unique for each and every record in the whole file. And this is how the key and value keys are distinct for each record which is read with the help of text input format. Clear, everyone? Are you able to are you getting me right? Okay. So if you keep on asking questions or if you keep on saying yes on the chat window, that helps me understand that I'm not speaking to just myself. Mm, then there's something called key value text input format. So here the separator is, so what we can define is we can define the separator between your records and from your data itself the key and value pairs are created. So if I say I have a file which has two columns and both are comma separated, so I can define my key value separator in the file as comma, and anything before a comma would become your key and anything after a comma would become your value, and after that slash n would end that record, and the next record will then again be read as a key and value pair. And if you don't define this separator, the default separator is slash t. So remember, across the whole Hadoop word which we will be talking about, the default separator everywhere between key and value pair would be your slash t. Across everywhere, big, high, MapReduce, anything you to talk about. If the separator has not been defined by the user, the default one is taken care, that is slash t, and the default record separator is slash n. So this will always be there until unless this is not defined and configured by us. Then there's something called sequence file input format. Just skip it for time being. When I'll be talking about the sequence files, I'll talk about that thing. But this is the input format which is used to read sequence files, and these are very useful in Hadoop world. Some of the companies have changed their cluster file formats to sequence file format, and that has helped them in a lot many things. I'll talk about those things in a sequence file. I'll be discussing about sequence file in detail. Yahoo is one of the example. They were running out of memory in their cluster, and then they changed their file system, all the files to sequence files as well as RC files, and enabled some compression, and they were able to gain back I think 20 to 30% of the storage space on their cluster. So these are very useful files. I'll talk about them in detail when I will be talking about sequence file. But there's a file input format for sequence file. Then there's a file nline input format. It's same as text input format, but it will ensure that, or I should say, it's a guarantee that exactly n lines are there in each split. So it's similar to a text input format, but it guarantees n lines in each split. If you have some particular criteria for how you want to call your mapper and things like that. Any questions over here before I go ahead? Are you able to correlate how this thing file input format, record reader, mapper, info splits are coming in picture while reading your data, and your data is being given to your mapper function, and how the key and value pairs are created for your mapper input?
Yeah, so Miraj, I was able to get some part. Well, I was able to get most of what you're saying. I typed in a question for you right now. Can you take a look at it? Because
sorry,
I asked, okay, what happens if the files are not text or Excel or
okay. I missed a few of the chats. I think the chat window is not refreshed. So it was 333 from a lot of you. I have not seen that answer also. Yeah, that was the correct answer, and I missed that answer. And then I said yes also, got yes also from some of you, and I missed all those parts. Sorry for that. So Pradeep, you says what happens if the file is a picture? Okay. So again, when there's a binary files, you would be storing them in something like sequence file, where you will sequence file will be your records and storing your records and things like that. So if it's a binary file, picture file, you might be storing it in a particular file formats, or you would be storing that in top level file. So sequence file is one of the file formats which you can use, or you can create on your own file input format files that will find out the end of your video file or picture file, or that will basically find out the boundaries of your file, and you can use that for processing. So these are that's a reason for everything is configurable in this word. If you don't want to use any of the default formats, there are interfaces which you have to implement, and you define your own logic, how you want the record to be divided, how you want the record boundaries to look like. So for picture, all you have to do is just create your own record reader and file input format. Use your corresponding file input format that will create your record boundaries based on your picture boundaries.
Okay, so let us take that example. Now, let us take that example even a step further. Now, if I understood you right, you told me that, okay, you know, we will provide the data, and then every, you know, our every logical, what we consider as one logical block of data, whatever it is, it could be 100 lines, it could be 50 lines, whatever, but if we consider it's a logical block of data, then that data would be worked upon by a mapper function, and then we get the key and the value pairs for that mapper, for that block of data.
For that record.
Correct?
For that record of data.
Yeah, for that record of data. I mean, it could be one line, it could be 100 lines, whatever it is, correct?
Yes.
Now, how I want to assign the key and the value pair? Like, I could take 100 blocks, I could take 100 lines of data, and sometimes I may say I just want to know, you know, like I could say that I just want to know how many lines have more than 500 characters in each of them. That could be one way I want to assign the map. Or another map could be I just want to know how many of them have just the letter W. Okay, I mean, these are two different things that I'm looking for in the same 100 lines, correct? So with that being the case, how will the system, or what level of control do I have to say, here is how I'm supposed to assign the key and value pairs to map the data?
Yeah, I think Pradeep, that's a
Question makes sense.
Yes, your question makes sense, and I think that's one of the good questions. That will definitely help you understand the system again. So the system, when you are dealing with Hadoop system, you have to think in key and value pair only. And if you are able to think your data in key and value pair, you would be able to find out the solution. So let's look about the first problem which you said. The first problem which you said was, say I have a file and I want to read 100 lines at a time, and I have to find out the word count in each of this logical record. That is 100 lines. So the number of words in the first 100 lines, number of words in the second 100 lines, and so on, whatsoever are the number of 100 lines in my program. So anyone want to answer this question before I answer? And anyone want to answer what should be my key and value pair from while I read the data, while I produce the data from the mapper class, and what I produce from the reducer class? Anyone want to answer this question before I go ahead and explain it? No one. Okay, fair enough. So let me explain it. So in the first question, what we'll do is we'll read the file as a simple record reader or text input format or line input format, and we'll read 100 lines at a time, and that will be passed to your mapper function, map function. And the key could be just the byte offset value of the file, as you have to ignore the key. We are not worried about the key in this data. We have to just play with the value itself. So in the mapper function, what I'll do is I'll just do a count of the words, and that is all what I want. And from the mapper phase itself, I'll produce the output, and I'll say reducer equals number of reducers equals to 0. So in this case, I don't want any reducer, and this is how I can do a parallel processing of the data. So this is the first problem which you're talking about. Second problem which you are saying is, say I just want to search out W's. Again, in this case also, I don't really require reducer. I can do the thing in mapper phase only. All I have to do is the record which has been given to my map function. I'll just search for W, and I'll just keep on printing the record as well as true, false. So this example which you gave, I'm getting what you're trying to understand, but let me give you another good example which will make more sense. But does that make sense before I come ahead to some other real example which might make more sense?
Well, I guess so. I'm just trying. Well, where I'm getting at is, so what is the functionality that is built into Hadoop as opposed to what is the functionality that we have to code for? Meaning that, so in the first case, how I'm mapping the data, leave the reducer function. Okay, the reducer function is a mathematical operation. So leave the reducer function. I'm talking only about the mapping. In the first case, what I want to map is primarily what I want to map is very different from from what I want to map in the second case. So I have to define what type of mapping I want, correct? So that
Yes.
way then the system does.
Yes, so you have
The
to.
mapping is also going to be a logic, right? I mean, it's not a logic, but it's a choice of how I want to map the data or what I want to map. So that's something that I have to define, correct?
Yeah, let me give you another example, and even if it does not make sense, then we can again go ahead. Just let me try to think of some beautiful example for your scenario.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's say I have an object of employee class. So that object is something like this: employee, say employee ID, employee name, or say first name, last name, age, department ID, and okay, that's all. And the data is something like this: 1, 2, 3. PRADI. Apologies if I make some spelling mistake. And so I'll just give a short form of this. And Vikram, I'm not sure, so I'll just assume anything. So this is just a random age, not related to your age. And so this is my comma separated data which is lying in my file system. And say what I want to do is I have to just find the average age of each department. So I'm just trying to think of what could be beautifully what I can think of. There might be something better of this, but I'm just trying to think of how to explain that thing to you. So say what I want is, and the department ID is say somewhere here. And this is a comma separated file at the back, end. So in this case, what I can say is I want to just find out the average age of employees in each department. And let's make one more row. And so what I can give is I can define the key and value pair separator as the second comma. So before anything before second comma is your key, anything after second comma is my value. Or I can say anything before this thing is my key and anything after this thing is my value. It's all depend on me how I want to play my data with the mapper phase in the mapper phase, and how I want to play with my data in the reducer phase. So we'll just try to think of possibilities, what keys I can make and what values I can make, and what kind of mathematical encoding or coding which I have to do in such a scenario in the mapper, or basically I have to play with the data in the mapper phase and the reducer phase. So say for example, in the first case, what I say is the last comma in my file, in my record would be the separator of your key and value. So this will become, the yellow color will become your keys and the green color will become your values. So this is the first case which you can think of. We will just try to find out what is the best solution. I also thought about this thing just a second back. So I might not be also aware of what could be the best solution for this. So, but we will try to find out what would be the best solution. So if we can make this as a key, and this, if this is passed as a key to your mapper phase, and the value is this, is passed to your mapper phase. In mapper phase, what I'll do is I'll write my string functions, and in the string function, I'll just try to find out the strings which are second in your comma separated list of key, and the values will remain same, and I'll pass those things to a reducer phase. And I'll ensure, and the shortened sample will ensure this thing, and this thing will go to your reducer which is handling the bucket 2, and this will go to your might be the same reducer, but this will be called a separate reduce function, and this will be called a separate reduce function. And all what I will be doing is doing the average of all the values, and I'll print out those things, key and value pair. So this is a one way I can play with my data. My data was separated by comma separated, and what my requirement was just to find out the average of age in each department. Another way could have been is I could have written my own record reader or text reader or block reader, basically the input so text input file format reader. I could have written my own reader, and I've read only this thing and this thing as a key and value pair. The third possible way is I could have read this thing only as a key and this thing as your value. And in that case, all I have to do is I have to ignore these values and produce this thing as your value from the mapper phase and this thing as a key from the mapper phase. So it depends on me what I want to do with my data, and somehow I have to play with my data and think on my data in a key and value format. In mapper function, I'll be producing the key which I really want, on which I want to do a mathematical aggregation on my reducer phase, and the reducer would do aggregation on those logical keys. Am I able to explain it, Pradeep? If not fully, at least somewhat. Does that make sense to you? Okay, Pradeep says.
Thank you.
Okay. So same way, if your files are say picture files or anything, so picture file again, if I think about picture file or video file or whatever is the file, and so in that case also your file would be something like this in your blocks. So picture file would be something, and then there would be some separator in the block which will be telling about your picture has ended. So say that is this key. So in that case, you could, and if you want to say play with the picture or do something with the picture in your mapper phase, you will be processing your picture, producing some key which is equivalent to the picture. Say a name of the employee. So these pictures are employee picture. So you will be traversing this picture. You will be writing your logic to find out the name associated with this picture. You might produce a key as a name and value as an object, and based on the name, you might be doing some processing on the image. So you have to somehow divide your data in a key and value pair. It totally depends on you what key value you want to make, but somehow you have to think of read your data in such a fashion so that you can play with the data in your mapper class and produce some key and value pair on which automatic aggregation could be achieved in a reducer phase. Okay. Anyone, any other questions on this part? I think that this if you can think of your data in your map key and value pair, then I think you have understood 50% of the Hadoop part, and you can play with any kind of data. If you can just think of your data in a key and value pair, whatsoever the kind of data, if you can think of that data in a key and value pair, I think you can resolve most of the problems in the Hadoop world. Okay, so these are this is what I was talking about. Then there are a few others. File input for what I was talking about. Okay, so this is I have just explained it to you. It will read all the files which are lying in your directory and send to your mapper. But you can also define which files you want to read, if not the all files from your directory, which is given as an input to your MapReduce function. So in that case, you can use the what do you call this ASCII characters and basically. So then record reader I was talking about. So there is a record reader which is associated to your different text input file formats. So the line record reader is associated to your line line record reader is associated to your this line, the text input file format. The key and value record reader associated to a key value text input format, and you can also create your. So I have just shown you two. There are others also, but these are the two useful which I've just displayed over here. Then as you can create your file input format, same way you can create your record readers also, and those will be implementing your record reader key value interface, and you can create your own custom record readers. So now this slide again talks about your mapper class, which we looked into a previous session. So now I think everyone understand everything. Oh, sorry. I hope everyone understand all of these terms now. What is your key in and key out? Anyone want to answer this? What is your key in and key out into your mapper class? Guys, there's a key in and key value in. Vikram says the input and output of the map function. Yes, Vikram, but where from this input is coming? This input is coming from what we have read or what your record reader read for you as a key and value pairs that is with the help of your file input format. So this text input format, if this would have been used, this key would have been long writable definitely, and your value would have been text. And so if this would have been used, the key in would be your int, and value in is your text, and key out could be anything, how you are processing your data, and value out again could be anything, how you are processing your data. And these key out and value out would be your key in and value in of your reducer function, reducer. And the reducer will again do a processing on that and can produce the key out and value out of what we are looking at or how we want to process the data. So this is run. I'll show you all these things. Setup is used to do a setup of the context. Map I'll just show you, and all these things. So this is how your map function looks like. We have talked about. So this is your mapper class. This is a map function in the map class, which will just get the key and value pair and the context. Context is to get the context of your container, and key would be writable, comparable, and value would be writable. I hope everyone understand that part now. So guys, I'm not going technical inside the Java part. Wherever you want me to explain anything, I'll explain those parts. But understanding your experience, I'm not going technical inside to the much of the code side. Wherever you think you want to understand that piece of code, do let me know. I'll explain that thing as much detail as you want. But I'm trying to explain the fundamentals of how this things happen at the back end. And if you understand these things, you might not even write a single Java code to do all these things. Wherever you think I'm going fast or I'm going slow, or you want me to explain it in more detail, do let me know. I'll explain those things in detail. Pradeep, I am not able to get your context, but to be effective in the real. So Pradeep says, but to be effective in the real world. Yeah. Pradeep, the data which you are dealing up, if you talk about the data which is coming from machines, or the data which is coming from your logs, the data which is coming from your relational databases, the data which is coming from your other systems, probably that data would somehow be in your text format which you can read, and if it's somehow in the text format which I can read, I can process that without writing my mapper or reducer function. With the help of Hive, Pig, or creating a Hive table on this, using map Hadoop streaming, I might not be using mapper, I might not be writing mapper or reducer function. But practically, if you understand how the mapper and reducer functions are written, how the map and reduce looks at the back end, you will be easily able to think of how the processing should be done, and you will be easily able to optimize your codes. Yeah, but this is how you have to look into the data, and if you understand how to look into the data, rest all is it's just the technicalities behind to process it. So as I was talking about, there are default readers for you. There are file input formats for you. There are default record readers for you. Similarly, there are default mappers also for you. So if you don't have to write your own mapper, you can use these default inbuilt mapper in the Hadoop world. So identity mapper is nothing but it produces the key and value pair which comes to it as it is. It does not do any processing, any changes on the key and value pair, what it comes to it. You might be using it in some particular scenarios where you don't want to do any processing into your mapper phase. Say I just want to find the average of age and I've read all the first 5 or 6 columns as, no, that is not a good example. But in some particular way, in some particular thing, you might not have to do any processing in the mapper phase. All you want to use is a reducer phase. So there you will be using identity mapper, and mapper will not do anything. It will just produce the key and value pair as it has been inputted to it. Inverse mapper, as the name itself suggests, it will reverse our key and value pair. Regex mapper implements the mapper and generates a match, 1. That is, if your regex has been matched or not. So based on the it will just produce a count of the regex and the corresponding map matching of that regex in your value. Similarly, the token count mapper, it will count the tokens based on the token implemented by you. So these are the some default useful mappers which are already there implemented for you in the Hadoop, and you can use them directly while we configure your map and reduce phase. I'll just show you in an example of these things. Before that, I'll just cover the reducer part, and then I'll show you all these examples. Then similar to your mapper, there is a reducer function which we talked about previously also. So reducer takes your keys and values. It will not be always be text, but this is just an example. But the values would always be iterable because the group of values corresponding to a single key has been passed to the reduce function. So this is iterable always, and as you know now, keys are writable, compilable, and values are writable. So as we have seen in your input phase to the mapper, same happens from the reducer. Also, reducer produces your record in key and value pair format. And that goes to your record writer, and record writer reads your data to the output file. So if you look into your output files or output which is created by your MapReduce program, you will see n number of files are created over there in your SGFS world. As each file is associated to each reducer. So if there are 10 reducers which have been triggered in processing your data, there will be 10 files by part -0001, -0002, and so on. So for each reducer, there will be one file which is be created, and this is the reason at the back end why there are so many files created if so many reducers had ran to process the data which has been processed by our MapReduce phase. So similar to the default mappers, there are default reducers also. Identity reducer is nothing but identically it will just produce a key and value pairs. This is what has been passed to it. And long sum reducer is as the name itself suggests, it basically does a summing of your values and produces the key and value pair. Key is the key and the value is just the sum of all the values inside that key. So kind of word count, what we did in word count. Now I hope everyone understand what is text output format. So again the same logic applies over here. Again the same logic applies over here. The key and value pair are separated by /t, which is the default one, but Similarly, there is a sequence output format, null output format, outputs nothing. It just suppresses the data produced by reducer. You have to do some testing or something. You could use this thing, or you have to in some particular data which is lying some peculiar scenario. If you just want to digest the data which is produced from your reducer phase, you don't want to write it. Sequence file output format, I'll talk about a sequence file, and then it will make more sense how the sequence file output format is used. So before I go into advanced map reduce, so let's look into these programs. Let's try to run one or two programs to look how the data is really processed for us. Anyone has any questions? What I've discussed till now, what I was covering till now? Zubair, if you're not able to get anything, just ping me up. I'll try to explain that. You have not seen the initial part of the map reduce. That might be a little difficult for you. I understand that part. But if you watch the video which have been shared to you, everything would be clear. And after that, again, you can watch this recorded session. Still, it's not clear. Then you can ping me on the Skype, and I will definitely try to help you. But if anyone has any question, just ping me on the chat window. So Zubair says okay. Okay, now I'll switch over to the Java world. I'll try to run few of them and I will show you. So anyone want to tell me what is a record reader and record writer? By the time I'll just open my clips and we'll open the program for you. Just give me a sec. I'm just trying to open some MapReduce program for you. Just give me a sec. What happened to my window? Okay, so this is one of the example which is not pretty difficult. So here what I'm doing is this is my mapper class. This is my reducer class, and this is my main function, which would be triggered for me. Pawan says, okay, sorry Pawan, I did not read your answer. Record reader is for parsing the input splits into records and then into key value pairs. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yes. So let's look into this example which I was showing you. So here what I'm doing is I've created a mapper function, and the mapper function I'm not doing anything. I'm just writing the key and value pair, how they are read from the data. I'm not doing, and I'm not playing with it and just producing it. And in the reducer part, I am for each text and value pairs, I am just doing again a write of key and value for each value in my key and value pair. So, and chopcon dot says okay, and I've used file input format key value as my key value text input format as my input format, and I've defined the separator as comma in this program. So anything separated by comma before first comma will become my key, and anything after my first comma will become a value, and that will be given to my mapper phase. And for each of those key and value pair, I'm just writing them again with for each values I'm just producing key and value. So I'm not doing processing. I'm not doing any processing on the key and value, but just an example to show you how those things happen at the back end. And in the output, I am just defining as okay. I'm not defining any of my output text output format. I've just defined my text input format, and text input format is nothing but I'm separating my key and value pairs by comma. So if I say some input to this program as a key and value separated, so say my input is something like this to my program, 1 comma what I put. Sorry, something happened to my clips. I'll not write over here because I at back end it does all the compilation and everything. So let's open some other program to write it, some less costly program. So if say my input is something like this, 1 comma Hadoop, 2 comma map, 1 comma reduce, 3 4 comma map, 5 or 3 comma. Can anyone tell me or quickly ping me on the chat window what will be the output from that program? In the input, what I'm doing is in the mapper and reducer file, I'm not doing anything. Mapper is just producing the key and value pair, how it's being inputted to it. Reducer is just producing all the key and value pair. So what it's doing is the iterable values which is coming to the reducer, it's running a for loop on those values and producing key and value pair. So it is also not doing any processing. It is just by default producing your keys and values, all the values which has been passed to the reducer phase. And in between, I've just used the file input format as your input format, and the default separator for key and value which I've used is comma separated. Can anyone tell me what would be the correct output of this program when I will run it on this data? Think what are the default separators, think what is the default record separator, think what is the default key and value separator, think of all the phases in between, and think of what would be the output of this program. I want everyone to try out, at least give me some answer how my data would look like, how my output would look like. I want everyone to give an answer, whatsoever you think, but just give me an answer about how my data would look like. Pradeep, assume only one reducer takes care of it, so 3 files might not be created, but based on your data sizes and different things, a number of reducers can be created, and also you can also configure it from the configuration which you can pass while you're running your MapReduce program. So a number of reducers will depend, but a single reducer can also take care of this data, and in that case the reduce function for the reducer will be called twice, one for a first key, another time for a second key, and third time for a third key. So I'm waiting for your answers. Pradeep says map shuffle. So Pradeep, what I want is just an answer how my output would look like. This is my input. that MapReduce runs on this input, and what would be my output. Vikram says 1 Hadoop comma reduce. Oh, sorry. Okay, Pradeep, that was an answer. Okay, Hadoop reduce, map and shuffle. Sorry, Pradeep, that's not the correct answer. Vikram says 1 bracket Hadoop comma reduce, 3 shuffle. Jignesh is 1, 2, 4, 1. No, Jignesh, that's not the correct answer. Vikram, you are almost correct, but not perfectly correct. No, Jignesh, that's not the correct answer. So Vikram, for you in the reducer phase, for each value, I am doing a loop on all the values and producing key value. The mistake which you made, now you can think of and can produce the correct output. No, Pradeep, it will not be the same in the input file.
Okay, it'll be 1 Hadoop, 1 reduce, 3 shuffle, 4 map. In that order?
Yes, and what would be the separator of these key and values? Will it be 1 comma Hadoop?
Tab, it'll be a tab.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. And Vikram gave me an almost correct answer. He said one tab reduce, but there would be 2 lines for these values. Yes, that would be an output from this program. So we'll run this program. Let's take a quick 10 minutes break, and then after the break we'll run it program. And if you people want, we can run a few more programs, and then we'll look into the advanced MapReduce. And then I'll request everyone to by that time just boot your laptops if you are attending the session from your iPads or phones or something, and then we'll look into the problems which you are facing while running a MapReduce or while installing the VMs. And I'll request you to over your today just try to run some sample MapReduce. I'll share one problem statement with you. Let's try to run that on the sample data which I'll be sharing with you, and then we can discuss that thing in tomorrow's class. And by that time, I'll assume your VMs are also up and ready if you are facing some issues with your VM. So let's meet. It's 10:30 IST in my watch. Let's meet at 10:40 IST and the corresponding to your clocks. Hi everyone, I'm back. Just ping me if you're back. Okay, Pradeep says is back. So Pradeep just waiting for others also. Vikram is also back. Pradeep is also back. Zubair, Pawan, Jignesh. Jignesh is also back. Pawan and Zubair. Okay, they'll join us in between. So let's try to run that program on some input data, and then let's see what happens. So let me open a file which I'll be giving as input to this program, and so this is a file. I'll just share my screen. So this is a small file which I'm giving as an input to this program. Keys and values are separated by comma, and we'll try to run that program and try to see what is an output. So all I have to do is, oh sorry, I have to switch back to another screen. Just a sec. So can anyone quickly tell me what is the command which I have to write to run that MapReduce program? Something. Hadoop FS, not Hadoop FS. FS is file system. So Hadoop FS, when I'm saying Hadoop and space FS, that is file system. So I'm interacting with a file system. Here I am not interacting with the file system. I am not doing anything. I'm submitting my job. So it's Hadoop, ZAR, and your ZAR name. So all of my classes are already there in the ZAR, which I was talking previously also. So this ZAR has all the classes which I have discussed till now. So if you don't want to create your own jar, you can directly use this jar. This jar is also shared along with the code folder which I have shared with you. So if you don't want to go into the complexities of creating the jar, you can directly import the jar into your the sandbox, and then we can directly run those programs. And then all I have to give is a fully qualified class name of my class. So I'll just copy that from the Eclipse world. I'll not share the screen. I'll just quickly copy it up. So this is my fully qualified class name, and then the input file which I've just shown to you. So I'll just copy that input file name and then output file. So there has to be no spaces. I'll just delete these spaces. And an output file. So let's create an output just parallel to this. And before that, this output directory should not be existing. So I'll have to delete this output directory before that. Hadoop. Now can anyone tell what will be the command to delete that output directory? Now I have to interact with the file system. I want to delete the output directory user udp output to run the MapReduce program, and I have to, as to produce the output to the directory. This directory should not be existing, so I just want to delete this directory. So yep, Hadoop space fs minus minus rm and minus sorry Hadoop fs minus rm minus r minus escape trash is nothing but if we delete something in Windows, that is something like shift delete. I'm saying not to go to bin, and minus capital R is recursive. So this is deleted. Now I can run the ZAR. So this program is running, and let it run. So shall I go ahead into the advanced MapReduce, or do you people, by the time this program is running, do you people want to try to run at least one MapReduce program on your end before moving on to the advanced parts of the MapReduce thing? Otherwise, you will just forget the things, and there might be few things which you not might be. I can help you right now. You can try it out on our backend. Whomsoever is facing issues, I'll switch over the control to him. He can show you the screen, and we can quickly discuss the problem which he's facing. Should we go ahead in that mode for next at least 30 to 40 minutes, and everyone try to at least run one MapReduce program, or should we go ahead and look into the advanced MapReduce program? How do we want to go ahead? I'm opening the output. By the time, just ping me. How do you want to go ahead? Or I'll quickly get it over here only while I to go over there. So Hadoop fs minus cat. Pradeep says he wants to try. Does everyone agree with what Pradeep is saying? Let's try something. Otherwise, you will just forget. Pawan also says yes. Pradeep also says, Vikram also says sure. Okay, sure. So let me just show you an output, and I'll ask few questions on this output before after that I'll switch over the whole control to all of you. By the time at the backend, please try to start your VMs, whomsoever are able to start their VMs, and at least copy the VMs on your PC, try to run it, show me the errors which you're facing. So by the time, keep your errors ready or your VMs ready, and I'll just this was my input file. So guys, the key value input format, input text was my input file. This is my output file. Now, anyone want to explain what has happened at the back end? Everything is clear now. But I just want a quick reason from any one of you why the key 10 has came second in this list and not at the last candidate of this list. So this on the top side is your output. This is your input. Tell over here. Pradeep says ascending, yes, but 10 comes after 4. Pradeep says 10, but not before 2. Key 10, 2, 3, 4. Yes, because it's text. So if it's text, that is sorted as a text, not as an integer. Yes, that's what I was looking for. That's the general IQ. It's not related to MapReduce. Yep. Yes, so that's I was just asking that. So some people raise that doubt, and many of my classes people have raised that doubt. So I just wanted to look into that. So yeah, that's a text, and as a text, key 10 would come on top of 2. So I want all of you now to start a VM. By the time people are starting their VM, I think there were 1 or 2 who were not able to start their VM or facing some issues. So I'll start from the alphabetical orders by the name are appearing on my list. I'll just quickly ask with you people, And at the back end, people, you just try to start a VM and try to use the same ZAR file which is there in the in my shared code. Try to put that ZAR file into your Hadoop world or basically in your sandbox, and try to run one MapReduce program. I'll share the command if you don't have the Java files ready. Try to do that. Ping me. Keep on asking me the questions. I am unmuting every one of you, and I'll one by one. I'll just quickly ask you what are the problems you're facing. I am unmuting all of you. So, Jignesh, are you able to start the VM? Better I'll mute everyone and I'll unmute one by one. So I'll unmute. I'm unmuting you, Jignesh. So Jignesh, is your VM?
Yes.
Okay. So just start your VM and try to put this down and try to run a MapReduce program, the word count one, and then I'll come back to you.
Where do I find that programs?
So the programs, all the programs are shared in the shared directory Google Drive. Inside the Google Drive, there is a folder called code, which I've shared with you people. Inside code, the jar is also lying. The jar name is MapReduce. MapReduce is the 0.0.1 snapshot.jar. You can either directly use that jar or can create your jar. If you want to create your jar, I've told the steps to you to start the Eclipse and do an export, or you can either use Maven. So inside the software folder, there is a folder called Maven also, which is shared with you. You can either use Maven also. There's a document which talks about how to install Maven. Try that part. I'll come back to you again in next 5 minutes. Okay, I'll come back to you again in next 5-10 minutes. So Pawan, I'm coming to you. I'm unmuting up Jignesh and I'm unmuting you, Pawan. Are you able to start the VM?
No, Miraj, I still need to install the VM. I'm trying to download from Google Drive.
Okay, you're trying. Oh, okay, you are in a step to download. Okay, you just try to download it, and by the time just check if the virtualization is enabled on your laptop. If you're using 8 dot something or the latest version of any of your Dell or HP laptops, the virtualization nowadays is coming by default disabled.
So what virtualization? Where do I enable that?
Okay, I'm coming to that part. So inside the software folder, inside the software folder, there's a folder called VMs. Inside VM, there's a document called how to install your VM. If you look into that document, there is at the end of the document there are steps if you are facing some issues. So this is the first issue which everyone, with most of the people face. The virtualization is disabled on their laptop. So just read that thing. There is one software which I'm talking over there that tells you if the virtualization is disabled or enabled on your laptop. And if it's disabled, you have to reboot your laptop and you have to enable it from BIOS. So just look into the document that will that will tell you if the virtualization is enabled or disabled. And if the VM is being downloaded, you can directly try installing and starting your VM, and that will give an error at the start of VM only.
Okay, let me try.
Okay, sure. So Pawan, I'm just muting you again, and I'm going back to Pradeep. So Pradeep, I'm unmuting. Sorry, I've unmuted you, but looks like okay. Now you're on air. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm right now looking at the same screen, where it says. Hang on. So where I'm looking at the exact same screen as you are. Okay. My only problem is that my laptop is really slow when I start running this.
So yeah, the RAM would be either 4 GB or something, so that makes it a little slow. So I
have a 4 GB RAM.
Yeah, so I request you to close everything other than this GoToMeeting and your VirtualBox. Just close each and everything which is open on your laptop. Just press Control Shift and Escape. All the programs, press Control Shift and Escape, and just sort your processes by your memory uses and try to kill each of them other than the GoToMeeting and your VM. So that will make it little. That will give it little space to breathe. And after that,
Just give me 2 minutes, or give me 5 minutes, okay, and then come back to me, because
Sure,
yeah, this is. I have 2 laptops, so I'm actually viewing the GoToMeeting in one laptop, and I'm running this entire thing on another laptop.
yeah, that's
The screen.
a better option. So
And that's still just hogging up memory. So let me see. And I got 4 GB RAM. So
yeah. So also you can enable or disable the RAM uses by your VM. I'll just show my screen. Just give me a sec. Where is it gone? Here it is. So here, if you can I hope you can see my screen. If you do a right click settings, and that's the reason I have not shared the 2.2, the latest version of Hortonworks. That is 5 GB itself, the sandbox only. So that makes more slower the systems. So in the sorry, I think system. So from here system, this is the memory or RAM which this machine will be consuming. So I have given the 4 GB RAM to this machine. You can reduce it or you can increase it, and that will give some breathing space to your laptop, other processors. But
okay.
To change that, you have to stop your VM. I am running it on 16 GB laptop, 16 GB RAM, so that's the reason it's still very much fast for me.
Okay. Yeah. All right, because mine is just totally forced down. This is the same.
So just close the Eclipse part that also consumes a lot of memory. So just close the Eclipse part and try to just run this VM, and that might be a little slow, but that will not hang up, that I'm sure. So I'll come back to you next 5-10 minutes. By the time you would be able to at least put.
Yeah, I'm just shutting down my laptop and restarting it because this is just stopped.
Okay. Okay. Just try, and now before starting your VM, just try to give it 1 or 2 GB of RAM, and
yeah, I'm just going to make it 2 GB or 3 GB and then leave 1 GB for everything else, because
yes, indeed, I think 2 GB is sufficient for it to run. So leave 2 GB for other things. Okay, so I'll come back to you in next 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Vikram, I'm coming to you. I'm just unmuting you.
Hi. So yeah, the VM is running. I'm in. Party I'm in. I now need to locate the jar.
Okay, so if you go to the code folder inside the Google Drive, there's a folder.
Yeah, I was not able to find the code folder.
Okay, I'll reshare. I'll reshare it again. Just give me 2 more minutes. I'll send you an email again. So more, just a sec. Email, and I'll say none. And Vikram. Okay. Interesting. I think I have not shared it with this batch. Anyone from this batch? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So just give me a second. I'm just sharing it. Just give me a minute. So my mistake. Sorry. No share. So. I don't have an email ID of Gmail. Okay, that's from Emily. Rest all have given me Gmail ID, so that you will be able to get it directly. So So just now I've shared it. You would have received an email on your corresponding Gmail ID which you have shared with me. And the jar is outside in this folder only, and there are other projects also. So right now I've opened the MapReduce Maven project. The Hadoop project is also same, but that can be built with the help of Eclipse, and the Maven could be built with the help of Maven. Other than that, there is not much difference in these projects. There will be some extra files in the Maven one because I keep on updating this one, but Hadoop one I update rarely. So there will be some less files in the Hadoop project. I'll also share the screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about. I'll just share this code folder, and here is the jar file. You can directly download this jar for a time being and put it to your virtual box with the help of WinSCP, which is a software which is shared in your software folder. Okay, Vikram?
Hey, I have a question.
I'll get
Just a minute, Pradeep. Vikram, is that okay?
Yeah, so I'm thinking the jar and
Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah, Pradeep, sorry for that. Go ahead.
No problem. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Sorry,
I
the
can.
question that I have is, I just changed my RAM to be 3 GB space in the settings under system. Should I also set the processor execution cap to be 80%?
You have changed it to 3 GB. I request you to make it just 2 GB. That will be sufficient for your RAM, but otherwise again laptop will go slow. And you are talking about the processor. So processor, I think you would be a dual core or something. So you can just give it a one CPU. If you have quad.
No, I have only. Well, this one says 8 CPUs, and it's been allotted to 2 right now.
I think mine is a quad. Mine is again. You can just leave it to. I think by default 2 would be selected, and that is sufficient for you. And execution cap you can just say 50 or 60%, but
Okay.
even with 100% runs fine for me. So from the CPU part, we will not be running any CPU intensive processors, but those would be little bit memory intensive. So RAM would be with a bottleneck, but CPU will not be a bottleneck. So you can just make it somewhere 70 or 60, and CPU as by default 2 is sufficient.
Okay.
Okay. Zubair, I am unmuting you now, and I hope you all have the links for all the softwares and everything, because I am sharing with the same class which you were in. So you are getting all those emails, right?
Okay. Yeah, I have that email, sir, but I didn't start up anything right now because I didn't install those. I just have those files.
Okay. So Zubair, I'll just request you to go to the folder called software. Inside software, there's a folder called VMs, and just download the two things inside that VM folder. And there's also one document that talks about how to install that VMs or how to install that sandbox. Just go ahead with that part and try to install that. If you are facing issues, do let me know. I'll try to explain those things. So there are 3 things.
Where do you want me to?
Okay.
Yes.
1 minute. Just a minute. So, Zubair, this is a folder link which is shared with you. I hope you can see my screen. This is a folder link which is shared with you. And if you go inside this folder, there is a folder called VMs. Inside VMs, there are 2 things. One is called OVA file and one is called EXE file. So just download these 2 files. This is a smaller file. This will download pretty soon, but this file might take 5 or 10 minutes based on network bandwidth. This is a 2 GB file. So this might take 5 or 10 minutes or even more based on a network bandwidth. And once you install this document talks about how to start your Oracle VM box with the help of this machine. This is a sandbox image. So just go through this with the document. This document have screenshots of each and every step. And just follow with this document and try to install this process, and then again I'll come back to you. Just try to download these things. The software folder is shared with you. Look into your Gmail. You would have got the shared link of this in your Gmail.
Okay, let me see.
Sure. Okay. So Jignesh, I'll come back to you, and Zubair, I'll just mute you again. So, Jignesh, did you achieve any success?
Yeah. So I got the jar file. I just need to run the command now.
Yeah. So first let's try to run the word count program. So for word count, we'll be requiring two things to run. First is the jar which you have now ready. Second thing is your input thing. So you have to give an input to a MapReduce word. So you have to have some file which you'll be giving as input. So that file should be in your SGFS word, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have some file in your SGFS word which you'll be giving as an input to the MapReduce word. Either you can create a file or you can pass the file to a MapReduce word with the help of Hadoop fs-put command. Hadoop fs-put, or you can use a Hue UI, which I was showing you people in that so many times in the class. So I can again go back over there. Where's that gone? Oh, where's it gone? Just a minute. Okay, so here this is a Hue UI. Either you can directly use the upload button from here, and you can upload the files directly from a Windows or Apple laptop directly to the SGFS part. So either way, you can just upload the file, and then you have to run your MapReduce program. And to run the MapReduce program, I request you to come up with the command. What is the command? And also the Java file is shared in the same just a minute, code MapReduce source main Java com design Pathshala Hadoop MapReduce and word count, and this is your main Java class. So this is the Java class. This file also talks about the hint how to run this program, and this is the whole link. If I can copy it, sorry I can't copy it, but this is the whole link inside that folder. There's no way I can copy it. There's no way. Okay.
So that file has instruction on the command.
Yeah, each and every MapReduce program I try to put at the end of the program how to run that also, just for a reference. But there's a simple command Hadoop jar and your fully configured class name, input path and output path. The file has static input and output file. You have to change the input and output path based on your input file.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so
I'll do the word count first and then the
then
other
yeah,
one.
then yeah. If you are able to run at least one, then you will get some confidence.
Okay.
Okay. What happened to my go-to meeting? Okay, so I'm coming to Pawan you again. Okay, you have not installed. So Pawan, are you able to download it, or sorry, will it take more time?
Sorry. Yeah, Miraj, I don't know why the Horton works and the still downloading.
Okay. Yeah, that will take time. If you are not downloaded, yeah, that will take time. You can try it out, and we can again discuss this part tomorrow. Sometime I'll devote some 15-20 minutes on this thing again tomorrow, so that everyone is on.
Yeah,
yeah, sure. Okay. So Pradeep, I'm coming to you. So I hope now your VM is started.
Yeah, now my VM is still starting. It's now starting the Falcon, so it's basically still starting.
Okay, so Falcon.
However,
so Falcon is a workflow which is created on top of Woozy. That is with the latest version of Hortonworks which they have released in June. So this is used for managing the workflow across the clusters.
okay. Well, so it's starting all the different applications that are on that system. I guess my question is, I'm on. Well, I've already opened up. Parallelly, I've opened up the Google Drive. I'm looking at the word count.java file. Did you want us to open that file and look at the command that you have at the end of the file so we'll be able to run it?
Yes, I think first try to run with that, then you can try your own programs, but at least try to run at least the first one, the first step.
Yeah, so one that you're saying that the actual command is inside the Java code?
So 1 minute, let me just a sec, let me go back to my clips part. Here's my clips. So after each and every MapReduce program, at the end of the program, I just give a hint how to run this program. So that talks about Hadoop ZAR, the ZAR name, the ZAR which has this file, compiled file, the fully codified class name, and the input and output, and if there's something else. So this is a hint.
Hang on, I have a question. Why are you giving that class name? You can put it, you could have added it right into your class path or something.
Okay. So Pradeep, there are two things which I talked in the first class. So the ZAR which I have created is not an executable ZAR. If this ZAR is an executable ZAR, then there is something called mainfizz.inf in my ZAR file, which automatically reads from the mainfizz, which is my main class, and will trigger that class. But that is a generic ZAR which I have created, which has all my classes. I can't make it an executable ZAR. So that's the beauty about the ZAR is now you can run any MapReduce program which is inside the ZAR. You have to just give the MapReduce fully qualified class name. Otherwise, I could have created this as executable ZAR, but in that case, each ZAR for each MapReduce program. So that is what I was saying in my previous class, that you can create your own ZARs. All you have to do is just go to File, Export, and Runnable ZAR. And Runnable ZAR, you just package your ZAR names, browse where you want to put that ZAR, select your map corresponding main class. So if I select my word count, so this ZAR would have my main fist, which will point to a word count class. And in that case, I don't have to give this whole fully qualified class name. In that case, I would have just given Hadoop ZAR name, and the input and output location.
Okay, got it.
So if you are creating by this way, you don't have to give this path. But if you are using MyZAR, which is created with the Maven, you have to give this fully qualified class name.
Okay, so because you're using Maven, you have to do it this way.
In Maven also we can create the mainfizz.inf, but I've just created a generic jar so that now you can use the same jar for other programs also.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to download this word count.java, just a file, so then I can open it and look at the code.
Yeah, or you can use the Google Drive app also, which can open any kind of these files. But you can download it as just a KB's files.
Let me just see. I'm trying to click it. Let me see. It's saying there is no preview available.
Yeah, but there's an app option somewhere on this screen also. Install that app and then you can preview it. Somewhere it comes on the screen. I don't remember, but somewhere it comes. I can recall.
That's fine. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so this thing is still taking its time. It's starting, but it's starting slowly.
Yeah, there are a lot of things which happen, which starts at the back end, and if you keep on reading the names, those would be some interesting things which you can look at. So I'll try to at least give you an idea what is there in this whole system. We can't cover each and everything, but whatever you talk about, I will try to show those lights. So like
I have a question. So I have a question. Now I can write. I can write my own code, or eventually at the end of this class, I should be able to write my own code, and I should be able to run it using that virtual machine that you have provided.
Yes. So for a smaller data, so what also the developers do also, they either have a small cluster, or they use these VMs or sandboxes. They write their code. They run it with just a sample data on these sandboxes, and then they look at the output. If that is everything fine, then they run the code on the production cluster. So this is how the life cycle happens in the development phase also. What we do.
Okay.
Because the output will always be same, or how to trigger this command will also be same. Even if I am triggering the same MapReduce program in my cluster of 1,000 nodes, the command will remain same. Yeah, I as a client can sit on any of the data node or any of the machine. That machine should be just a part of my cluster, and I can trigger the Hadoop command.
Okay, got it.
So I'll
yeah, so you can probably come back to me in another 10 minutes because I'm still waiting on this one. So
sure. Take your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so Vikram, I'm coming to you. I'm just unmuting you and taking on here.
Hi. I ran this. Basically, I'm running word count jar,
Okay.
and it says user UDP input does not exist.
Yes,
File does
so
not.
yeah. So Vikram, that's what I'm saying. You have to create your own file. This is the file which was lying in my SDFS. You have to create your own file in your SDFS and try to run it.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do now.
So now either you can put the file by using Hadoop fs minus put command from your Unix system to your SDFS, or you can use a UI to directly import the file to your SDFS word from your Windows or Apple machine.
Is there a sample file?
You can put any text file, anything, or you can create a new file.
Okay.
Just by type
Some comma separated records.
No. This is just a word count where we are just counting the number of.
Okay, so just some text. That's it.
Yeah, and that will produce an output. Hey Zubair, any success in downloading?
It's downloading right now, sir. So I think it will take some time because the video is also in the session. So if you want me to disconnect for the video and first download and then connect, then I can even do that.
No, I think you better download it backend and connect it to us. So you can just try it out. If you face any issues, then we'll also again discuss this thing in the next class. I want everyone to be on the same page. So also just try to look into the videos by tomorrow morning. Okay.
Yeah, surely. Once I get it, I'll try to look at it.
Okay.
Did you email it to my Gmail, sir?
No, I don't have those things. So I'll ask from the admin team tomorrow morning. They will send you.
All right.
Okay. I'll not be able to share those things with you. I'll ask the admin team. They will share it with you.
Okay. I'll talk to you.
Okay. Thank you. So Pradeep says he has created a file, text file at user UDP. Okay, Pradeep, you have to create the folder DP if DP would not be there by default for you. So you have to just create a folder if you are putting it in DP and put the file up. Yes, you have to create a folder somewhere, anywhere in your SDFS, wherever you want. You have to just change the input part to the MapReduce program what you are running to point to that file or to point to that folder where that file is lying. Don't get the whole folder which have lot many files or lot many folders, otherwise the MapReduce will take input of all of them and will start processing all the files inside all those folders. So please beware before you are triggering the command not to give a folder which has lot of files and lot of folders inside it. Again your VM would hang up with that MapReduce program. Also, I would request you not to use a UI right now. Just try to use the Hadoop commands, that is Hadoop fs, put, delete, rm kind of thing. So that will just give you a little insight of Hadoop commands. Although you will not be remembering all those commands, but that just gives you an idea what you are interacting with, how you are interacting with the system, and that would be a little bit more useful later on, because when we are really doing the using Hadoop word, UI is useful for these small kind of thing, but when you are really dealing with the real data, that can't be dealt with the UI. You can just look into the cluster, but really you would be using the command line only to deal with the data or play with the data or trigger the commands. So
okay, should I say Hadoop space fs space ls minus l, because I want to know which directory I'm in.
So Pradeep, the thing is, yeah, that's the reason I'm asking every one of you to use the command line, and that will really come up with these questions. So Pradeep, you are sitting on the Unix machine. You are not on your SDFS thing, so you can't do CD into your SDFS. You can just look into your SDFS. You can read from SDFS. You can write to SDFS. So ls would just, if you just say Hadoop fs minus ls and just press enter, this will print all the directories at a root location in your SDFS. You can't go inside HDFS, you can't do a CD kind of thing on the HDFS. So so what you have to do is just a minute. Let me open the command prompt. So here if I say Hadoop fs minus ls and root, so this will just print me all the folders which are lying on my root. If I have to look inside some other folder, then I have to again say Hadoop fs minus ls slash tmp. So I'm now looking into the directories or files inside this folder. And if I have to create some my own directly, then mkdir and wherever I want to create. So say I have to create slash temp slash abc, something like this. So this is how I'll be. Or if I say Hadoop fs minus put any file which is lying locally, I am not sure which file is lying. So let's say this jar only. So put this jar and to slash tmp. So this will put my this jar to slash tmp in my HDFS. Or otherwise you can easily use a UI. Okay, so Vikram, any success? The VM installation.
Yeah, I'm trying to copy the file over to the directory.
Okay.
On the program again.
Okay, so you have to just either use put or from the UI. If you don't want to waste resources on the PC, you can just put the use the put. Otherwise, Chrome will again eat up a lot of your memory.
Miraj, this is Pawan.
Yeah, Pawan.
The Hortonworks sandbox download. How do I open that? The download is completed. The file type.
Okay. So Pawan, if you look over there, there's an installation document over there only. Yeah. Okay. So I also quickly tell you so that you don't have to read it whole. Just a minute. Let me share my screen. Just a minute. So when you double click on that exe file, there's something says there are two files over there. There's the one thing called .ova file and there's the one thing called .exe file. So if you double click on that exe file, that do some installation for you. Just keep on clicking next, and that will install something called Oracle VM VirtualBox. And once you open this machine, this will look something like this. These things will not be visible for you, but this column would be blank for you. Other than this screen will look something like this for you. And after that, all you have to do is file, import, and here you have to browse that OVA file and keep on pressing next, and everything would that would work for you. And once you keep on pressing next and it says finish, something like this would be visible for you. Hortonworks Sandbox 2.0. Just right click it and there will be a button called start which will be visible to you. Just click on that start and that will start your VM your sandbox.
Amira, Jignesh here.
It's just the VM that you need.
Sorry, Jignesh, I was not able to get you.
Yeah, so I was asking, I ran the word count program. It finished successfully, and then I tried to look at the output file. I can see the files are created if I do ls, but I don't see anything inside and the result.
Do you mean to say the files are of 0 byte?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just come to you. I will make you the presenter. Pawan was saying something, and then I'll just make you the presenter and look at it. Okay. Pawan, were you saying something?
Yeah, so it's just the VM that you need to install, and the Hortonworks is part of the VM, right?
Yeah, Hortonworks. This is the image of whole cluster which I was talking to you. This is a single node cluster, but so this is the image of that cluster. Everything is installed over there, configured at the for you. You have to just import it, and everything would be started for you.
Okay, because right now it's installing the virtual box.
Okay, sure. It will take some time, and then once you import it, then try to start it. Then I'll come back to you again. So Jignesh, I'll make you the presenter, and you can just share me on screen. I'll just quickly look into this. What is the problem which you are facing? So I'm just making the presenter, and you have to just share the screen, and then we can look into your what is the issue which you are getting.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen, and I can see your reducer is of 0 byte. And can you show me the command which you have ran? And before that, can you just maximize this window and just there's an error in your output. Just maximize this window. Yeah, just go up, little bit up. Just go up. I think there was an error. More up. Yeah, there's some error. Go.
So there was an error for the output file, so I deleted it and deleted it.
Okay. And now it ran successfully. Okay. Now it ran successfully.
Yeah, so I run it again.
Input. So could you just quickly do me an Hadoop fs minus ls user udp input? There's nothing in this directory.
Oh.
So I think that's the reason the reducer has produced nothing. So you have to put the file inside this directory. You have placed it might be mistakenly somewhere else.
I think I put it.
So.
Okay.
So let me come to this part also. I think this is a confusion with most of you. Just look into the screen. I think this confusion would be with most of you. When you are doing an FTP with WinSTP, you are connected to your Unix machine. This is your Unix machine. This is USR libhu. What you are looking at is the SDFS word. The file should be in SDFS word. And to put the file in SDFS word, you have to use the Hadoop command, Hadoop fs minus put. So now, Jignesh, your file is at user libhu, USR libhu. So just go.
Right.
So go back to your command prompt, type a command called Hadoop fs minus put. Then that USR slash u slash what was it? US slash USR username. Sorry, USR. Then I think it was U or something. I don't remember the folder. And then your file name.
It's no user
libhu. Yeah. So if you just press L and tab also, that will give it to you. Yeah. And then your file name.
Yeah.
Now wherever you want to put it. So now you want to put it as user dp input /dp /input. So now your file would be copied to your SDFS world. So now this copied very fast. Now you can just do a ls to cross check it.
Yeah.
Now the file is there. Now if you run it, now you will get something. But before that, delete your output directory.
Okay.
So -rm. Yeah, and -r for if you are deleting the whole folder, you have to make it recursive. Yeah. So now say it has sent it to trash. When I was saying -escape trash, so in that case it does not send it to trash also, and that command is little faster. That's all.
Okay. So but it's gone now, right? So we don't.
Yeah. Now you have to just I think that command will be there in history only. So
yeah. Okay. So it's gone.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So now it will take some time for mapper and reducer page. So,
so while it's running, so in the command we specify the input directory and output directory. Can't we specify the file name itself?
yes, you can specify the file. Yeah, for the input you can specify the file, but for the output you can't specify the file, and I hope you know the answer. Can you guess the answer?
Output, it's auto-generated, right?
Also, there is one more reason why I can't give the file to the output.
Not to override.
No. Yeah, overwrite is one of the reason definitely, but that's the reason output directory should not be existing, because MapReduce assumes that some data is lying in the directory, and if there's an output of previous reducers or previous MapReduce program, that could be a high-view process which you have ran, and it cannot delete that data. But there's another reason why I can't give a file name to the output folder. I have to give an output folder only, rather than giving a file name.
Because of the number of processes. If you have many processes,
yes,
that got different blocks.
Yes. So each reducer produces its own file, and I can't give the file name because there would be n number of reducers which will be running. So each of them cannot write to a single file.
I see. Okay. So now I can look at the
you can look at the output. Yeah.
Hey, Neeraj, I just logged in as version 2 and I need help.
Yeah. You can just do an ls in this folder. That would be user hue dp and output only probably, and p star only. But just look into this folder, ls into this folder. Yeah. Or if you have given that as part r only, then why it's not able to? Minus get p star should have worked. I'm not sure, some mistake or something. Or you can just give the full file name. But p star should have worked. I'm not sure why it not work. Either
is this command correct?
The command is correct. Hadoop fs. I think you made some spelling mistake. You made some spelling mistake or something. Otherwise it would have printed. Yeah, Pradeep, I'm coming to you. So hopefully, Jignesh, you will see the output now. Even if you don't see, then or we'll just wait for a minute. So Pradeep, I'll just come to you in a minute.
Okay, got it.
And correct. So you got an output, and now you can just look. So now try to run another programs also, and then I'll give you a problem statement which has some data and the problem which you have to run. And try to code it. Pradeep, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
So thanks. Pradeep, I'm making it a presenter. I can, and I'm giving you the control now. So Jignesh, I'm also muting you. So Pradeep, I have unmuted you also, and I have given you the presenter rights.
Pradeep version 2, because that's the one that I'm on.
Oh, okay.
Hey, don't give me.
Okay, so Pradeep version 2. Yeah, this was visible somewhere. Where's it gone? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Make presenter. Okay. So Pradeep, I have given you the rights now on the version 2. Pradeep, yeah, I can see your screen, but just for your convenience, if you open the putty, that would be easier. However, you can type over here also. But this UI or this console is very irritating. At least I feel it very irritating, so I prefer putty.
Yeah, so now tell me what I should do. I'm just.
Okay. So I think you are here. So better just minimize this and open putty.exe. That will be much easier to type also. That will be much user friendly also than this. So first thing is just minimize this and just open putty.exe, which is again a software shared in the software folder. I hope you have that.
Yeah, I think I do. There it is.
Yeah, just double click it. And press 122.0.0.1 in the host name.
120.
So 127, sorry, 127. Dot 0 dot 0 dot 1, and port as 4 times 4, 4 times 2, sorry, 4 times 2. Yeah, and just enter, press enter. If you want to save it, you can save it for future, but just open it. Yes. So you log in as Hugh and password as Hadoop. Everything is small.
Okay. Now
You are in the Unix world of this sandbox, and at the back end there is the SDFS word also running. So now first thing you have to, before running your MapReduce program, you have to put your file into your SDFS word. So either you can create a file over here, or you can transfer the file with the help of WinSCP to your Unix word, and can then put the file into your SDFS word.
So hang on, I have a question here. Now I don't even have a directory called temp. So when I do Hadoop,
yeah, space,
fs,
yeah, minus
ls,
and so okay. So Pradeep, there's one thing which is coming in picture over here is when you say ls. So by default, it will be looking into the directory of this user into your SDFS word. So the user with which you have logged in is the Hugh user. So it will not look into the root of your SDFS word, but it will print the folders which is belonging to this user in the Hadoop word, that is by default /user/u. So as you are logged in with the user Hugh, so this is printing the contents of the folder /user/u. So what will be printed over here is the content of the folder /user/u rather than root folder. So if you have given explicitly slash, that would have been the root folder.
Okay. So this takes a lot of time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it will so it might take. You can close the this IE or something.
There it is. So now what should I do? Just go ahead and tell me.
And so now you can just any file which you have locally on your Unix, or you can create a file by VI over here and then put it over there. You can just do a VI and you can create some file over here only directly.
You want me to create a file?
You can directly create in Unix. Just type VI and type any file name. Just escape.
Control C, right? Sorry. It's been a long time since I used VI.
Okay, not a problem. So escape it from here. You have to give the file name also. :Q and exclamation mark. Escape :Q and exclamation mark to exit.
Yeah.
Escape :Q. Yeah. VI space any file name, any damn file name, and press enter. So now this is a file. You can press I. So insert anything into this. Press I. Yeah. Now you can insert into this file, and at the bottom of the screen you can see insert command. Just type any words, whichever you want to do a word calculation. Just find any file. So we are so that will produce an output of those words. You can just type any words and then press escape, and to save it you have to just press the escape key :WQ.
Yeah, hang on.
WQ
and then exclamation, right?
Yeah, and enter. So now there is a file. Okay. If you do an ls over here, the file called Pradeep would be here. Yeah. So now you have to just put that file into your SDFS word. So Hadoop fs -put, and then put it at some location. -put and the file name that is Pradeep, and then some location where you want to put in SDFS words. So either you can put it at /user/u /USER /u. So you can either put
enter.
it. Yeah, you can press enter. Yeah, you can put it over there. Now next thing what you have to do is you have to get the ZAR file over here somehow. So you have, for that you have to use WinSCP to get that ZAR file over here.
See, I tried for getting the jar file. I used this command over here. Let me just send this to you.
You have to do an FTP. You can't get an FTP directly somehow over here. You have to do an FTP, and for that reason I've shared the WinSCP in the software folder. Yeah. Then port is again 4 times 2, user is you and password is Hadoop, and just drag and drop that ZAR into your Unix world.
Now will the jar be located on the, oh boy.
Unix. So that if you remember the job tracker whole workflow which I have explained to you, you as a client just says I want to submit this thing, that goes to your submitter talks to your job tracker gives me a job ID, then
No, I get that. Where is the jar file?
So jar file is I have shared in the folder called code again in the Google Drive. There's a folder called code which I've shared in the Google Drive.
Okay. Okay, let me search for it over here. I'm sure.
Sure, you have to just search in your emails, somewhere in your email. So search it and download that jar file. I'll come back to you in 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I'll talk to Vikram. Okay. So,
thank you.
Sure. Okay. So Vikram, I'm coming to you and I'm unmuting you. And Pradeep, you can just release the presenter rights.
I'm still struggling to run that. It's saying file does not exist, but I've actually put it there. I wonder why.
Okay. I'll come to you. I'm making you the presenter. I'm fetching away the presenter rights from Pradeep. So Vikram, now you are on the air as well as everyone can see your screen. So yeah. Pradeep, I'm just muting you and try to download that and then I'll come back to you. So it says file not found yeah. Okay, so can you do a quickly Hadoop fs minus ls and then user udp input? Yeah, press enter. So here there are two files, text.txt, and what you have given is user udp input test.txt. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so before that, Vikram, you have to give, this is the jar which you have created or you are using my own jar?
It's your jar only.
So the jar name was something else and you have to give the fully qualified class name also.
Okay, but I have put the jar here. I have put the jar and the user lib view.
Just a minute, just a sec. I'm looking. I'm not looking to a screen. Just give me a minute. I'm just giving the command which you have to run. So this is your fully qualified class name. I'm coming to you. Just a sec. So yeah, where's the jar?
The jar is in user lib view.
User lib view, and you have copied the word count.jar. I'm not sure which version of this word count.jar is there. There would be. You can just use this MapReduce 0.0.1. There are all the files inside it. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
So on the chat window, I'm pinging you the command also for your reference, which have the fully qualified class name. So just go back to your OT. Now just press ls. I think in this folder only where you are. I'm not sure. Just can you type pwd or ls or something?
I'm at user lib view only.
Okay, so that jar would be here, right? So just use the command which I pinged you on the chat window. You can use that command directly. Yeah. Hadoop, zar name, and the space fully qualified class name. Class name I have just pinged you on the chat window.
Okay.
Control C, Control C, Control C. So after that you have to give the input and output folders also.
Okay.
Yep, try that out.
Okay, let me put in myself.
So you got an error, file, so output directory, you have to delete the output directory. If you are doing RM dir, I think that is an older version of FS. I am not sure what was the exact name. You can use RM better as an option. I don't remember that was dir or something. That is older version of.
Okay, seems to be running.
No, started. So see, it find number of splits as 2. Total input path, total path to process 2. Input splits 2. So here it will be creating 2 mappers.
Yeah, I have 2 lines here in this file. Yeah.
Then it should not have. I might be. Depends on the record size and all those things. So okay, so let it run, Vikram. I am just Zubair, are you there or you?
No, hi.
Oh, okay, it gave an error. User you
Okay.
path.
So this actually is a whole directory structure. Maybe I should delete it.
No. I think okay, you have given okay. Sorry, I think you have given a path input path which is itself has recursive directories inside it. So don't give
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give a path which have files inside it or a explicit path to a file.
Okay, so no, I was just asking, what I was saying was,
So could you show me what is how your input is looking like ls? I think that
yeah,
you have given up input path which has lot of folders inside it also.
that's what it already had. I don't know where it came from. It's already had. If I look at this,
Input, yeah.
it has some view directory, and then underneath that, that's the whole structure.
Oh, okay. I think I think okay. I know what you did is you somehow previously you copied by default. You know your if you don't give the starting from root by default it will assume you are sitting at user hue. So you had copied something or you have given some copy star something like that and that has copied a hue inside.
I can safely remove
Yeah,
this one.
you
Right?
can safely remove it. So rm minus r. Yeah, now try it.
Okay.
You have to delete the output directory also. So it ran for half of the program. Yeah, there would be one file also over there. Might be if a reducer phaser is arrived, and that would have some output, but that's not all output. So yeah, now it's running. It will give you an output. Now then after that you can just do a cat on that file, and then you will be able to see the output. Zubair, any success? Are you able to download it?
Yes, sir. It's downloaded, and I have to install this thing, right, sir? Let me just say
Yes.
that name for you.
Yes.
VirtualBox 4.3.
Yes. So you have to double click on that exe file, and that will install something like what I was showing you. Vikram, I'm taking away your presenter, right? If you are facing any issues, you can just bring me up again. I'll explain Zubair how to install that again. So. So Zubair, if you double click on the exe file, it will open something like this for you. In this file, just install the exe file, and once you install the exe file, this Oracle VM VirtualBox will be open for you. Just click on this new. Sorry, click on this import, not new. Click on this import. Browse that OVA file from here, and click on next. Once you click on next. Hortonworks Sandbox 2 will be visible for you over here. Right click it and start it.
Okay. And do I have to install all the files, sir? The other files also are there for installation. That is works.
Leave it. Just look at my video. You'll be able to explain. Get them. For a timing, just use these two files: this exe file and OVA file. Hortonworks OVA.
You have to install the VirtualBox, right, sir?
Yeah, you have to just double click on the exe file and install the VirtualBox, and then import this whole sandbox.
All right.
Okay, so
yes,
I think Pawan was able to see the output. No, sorry, Jignesh was able to see the output. Pawan and Pradeep, any success?
Miraj, Pawan here. When I'm installing this VM, right, it's prematurely terminating.
Sorry?
Not sure why.
It's
prematurely terminating.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me come to you.
Can I show you the-
I'm just making you the presenter. Show me your dashboard. I've given you the presenter, right? So you have to just share the screen. Pawan, you have to this thing share. Yeah, okay. Oracle VM VirtualBox setup wizard ended prematurely. Your system has not been modified to install this program at a later time. Run setup wizard again. Not sure what.
I tried 3 times.
Okay. Is your machine 64-bit or 32-bit?
64.
64. That's fair enough. Strange. Okay, let's try again. I'm not sure. Let's try it again. Let me see if some issues are doing some problem.
Can you see my screen?
No, I can't see your screen.
Okay.
You have to share the whole screen either because your new windows will be coming up. So I think you have to probably share your whole screen.
You can see now?
No.
Okay, let me share the entire desktop. Yes, you can.
Yeah, now I can see. So yeah, next. Okay. Warning net 117. Go back. Cancel. There was some warning. Let's read it. Whatever. Cancel.
No, that's a network warning. You can reset your network.
Oh, okay. Are you on the VPN or something?
No.
No, okay, strange. I think there's problem with that only. Just let me read that wording again.
Yeah, sure.
Because this is not a problem which anyone of us has faced, and lot many people use the same VM, same .exe only. And this is iOS or Windows?
Windows.
Okay. Okay. Installing the OM networking features. Network connection. Okay. 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 And this is giving an error. Pawan, let me share you another link. You just try to download the latest version and try it again. I'm not sure what is the problem. And this is Windows 7, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. 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 I'm just thinking you another from where to download the latest version. Is it installed? No.
No, it will start and then it will end up. It will actually roll back.
And space is there, I think, probably on the drive, yes.
How much space do you need?
Not much, I think. Even if it's even if it's half a GB, that is sufficient for this installation at least. That would be there.
Yeah.
Okay, you have only one drive. Okay, and yeah, it has 37 GB. Fair enough. Yeah.
So you shared another link on Google Drive?
Sorry, Pawan, I missed you. I was just reading the Jignesh comment, which was a very long file, long line. Jignesh was saying, when you got a chance, you put a small document left. Okay, Jignesh. Yeah, sure. I'll help you with that. Sorry, Pawan, I missed your point.
You're going to share another one on Google Drive, you said?
I'll share you the direct installation link. Try with that. If is it still failed or is it stalling?
Still going.
Just click on the install. What is the install coming up? Which software is this? Oracle. Yeah, I think it's trying to create some network. Adjust the software Oracle configuration. Yeah, install it.
Yeah, I see it's loading now.
Rolling back. Okay. Let me share you the latest version link. You can download it. Just give me a minute. I'll let me share that. Try with that.
What is the size? What is the size of the VM? Let me see if I have it all down.
So VM is 2 GB, which is OVA file, but this software is, I think, not more than few MBs or something.
This is the size, right?
Sorry?
The size of the VM?
The size of the VM in terms of memory, right? You are asking. The size of the VM, which
The size, the downloadable.
The
downloadable file.
The downloadable file. So there are two things which we are talking over here. One is the Oracle VirtualBox software, which is virtualizing your environment, and one is your real VM or the sandbox. So sandbox, the OVA file is 2.1 GB, and this EXE Oracle VirtualBox VM is around few MBs only.
So this is sandbox, right?
This is not a sandbox. This is a virtualization environment which you will be creating, on which you will be putting up your sandbox. That is the OVA file.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just sharing you another link which will be where you can download the latest version of this exe file and just try with that. I am not sure what is the error you are facing. Also, I'll try to Google it out. I'll just share you 1 minute.
Hey, I'm also running into some file not found issue.
Okay,
So,
I'll just come to you. Just give me a minute.
okay.
I'll just come to you.
Miraj, these are the only 3 downloads I see under VM.
1 minute. I am not looking to the screen. Yeah. So yeah, you have downloaded all these 3 things. Probably yes.
Yeah.
And you are double clicking this exe file. And when you're double clicking this exe file, that opens a virtualization environment where you will be importing this OVA file. Okay. So, but you are facing issues while installing this virtualization environment itself. So I am just pinging you one more download link. Just download the latest version from here and try it with that. I am not sure what is the problem you are facing with this version. Just try with that. That might help. Jignesh, if you are leaving right away, so in the previous class I asked you, but none of you responded to this. So shall we start this class half an hour prior? That is your 10 a.m. EST. Just ping me yes or no on the chat window. That will help me to understand if that is fine with everyone. And Pradeep,
I'm fine with it.
Okay. 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 So everyone says yes. And
No, Jignesh, I'm sorry, to Miraj, I will have an issue at 10 a.m.
Okay, okay, sure. Okay, then we'll have it 10:30 only. Not a problem. Sure. So guys, it will be 10:30 only, and let's have it 10:30 only. So Pawan would have some issues. So if later on, Pawan, in the next weekends, if that's fine with you, then we can prepone it. Otherwise, we'll keep it at 10:30 only.
Yeah, sure, I'll let you know.
Sure. Okay, okay, not a problem. So Pradeep, I'm giving you the presenter right. Just give me a sec.
No problem.
So I've given you the presenter rights, and now yeah, you can share. You can present.
You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see.
So
it.
I moved. Okay. I moved the files, and then this is the message that I get. It's basically telling me that it's not able to find.
So you have not placed the input file. So if you do an ls on this user lib hue Pradeep, just do an ls to this folder. Hadoop fs -ls.
ls.
Yeah. Space and this whole user lib hue and Pradeep.
I mean, I have putty open. You can look at putty, right?
No. So okay. Let me explain it again. So there are 2 words over here. One is your Unix word, one is your SGFS word. So what you have copied from your WinSCP is a file copied to your Unix word, not to your SGFS word. Now you have to put this file from this Unix word to your SGFS word so that the file is lying in your SGFS word and the MapReduce can read that file. So your job tracker and task tracker are running over your SGFS word and they are reading it from the corresponding data nodes where that file is lying. Right now this file is lying on your local Unix machine. So before that you have to put this file Hadoop fs -put and from this location to some particular location in your SGFS word.
So Hadoop fs -put.
And
what's the path?
Yeah, and the path, that is the input path, that where your file is lying. So user lib hue Pradeep and the file name.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that's my input path. Never mind. Okay. And then the output path.
So what is the file name? Is that the file name, Pradeep? Okay.
Pradeep is the file name.
Okay, and then output path, anything in your Hadoop word, you can give it any path. So you can either put it directly into the temp folder /temp is fair enough /tmp and press enter. Yeah.
So I have a question then. From my WinSCP, I will never be able to browse into the Hadoop file system.
No, that is a FTP command only. So that is interacting with your system on the FTP protocol.
So like that, is there a file explorer that will
yeah.
only look at your Hadoop file?
Yeah, so if you open a UI, that is open an IP address 127.0.0.1:8000 on your Chrome or IE, that will open a UI from there. So that talks with your SDFS protocol, not a protocol, but that directly talks to the SDFS system.
So it basically assumes the HDFS root as its starting point.
Sorry?
Kind of. I said it kind of assumes your HDFS, that main node as the starting point, like your root.
No, so that will be showing your SDFS. So SDFS is nothing. What is the metadata stored on a name node? When you will be clicking on particular file, in that case, the transfer will happen. It will get your blocks location from a name node and display your blocks. But what is displaying right now is just the metadata which it has received from a name node.
Okay, got it. So now I have to run this command again, correct?
Yes, and your input would be /temp/Pradeep. /temp/Pradeep and space anywhere, just given no, yeah, output. Okay, fair enough, and press it.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. So by the time Pradeep is running the output, I think Vikram, you got your output, Pawan, you got your output, Zubair, you are trying to install, right? And Jignesh got it, and he has just left a minute back.
Sir, this is Zubair here. Sorry to interrupt. I have installed it and I have opened it. Also, I would like to know that do I have to install the other Horton also software?
No. Okay, Zubair, I'll come to you in. So Pradeep, just try to run it, and now you'll be able to get the output, and you have to just do it Hadoop fs -ls, and then to the output directly. You will be able to see the file also, and you can do a cat on that also. It will take some time based on the memory available to your VirtualBox, and I'll come back to you in a minute. I'll just give Zubair the presenter right. So Zubair, I'm giving you the presenter right, and Pradeep's program is running by that time. So you can just show me your screen, and we will play a little bit of this.
Oh, sir. Even I'm using two laptops, sir. So if I share, I won't be able to show you. So do you want? Okay, I'll log into the other laptop. Just give me 1 second.
I think it would be late also for me. So just try to follow a document called how to install this VM in the same folder as buying. Try to follow up with that. If you still face issues, then we can discuss that thing in the next class.
Okay, one last question, sir. We can also download the same in one folder on the desktop. Also, we can create a folder and download both of them in there, right?
Yeah, you can just download them, and you have to just install that exe file, and just after that you have to import that OVA file into that this Oracle VM box.
Okay, sir.
There's a doc document how to install it over there. That talks in detail, and that has screenshots also. Just try to follow that. Still you face issues, just drop me an email. I will either revert you back by tomorrow morning, or we can again discuss that thing in the class.
Okay,
just
sir.
Try to follow that doc document. Okay.
All right, sir. Sounds good.
Okay. So
that's Pawan here.
Yeah, Pawan.
Did you share the new one?
Sorry?
Did you share another downloadable that you were telling?
No. I was just talking. Yeah, Pawan, I've pinged on the chat window the link from where to download.
Oh, I saw it. Thank you.
Okay. Vikram, can we have a summary? The list of classes we can run. So Vikram, I'll share this PPT also with you. There we have the classes, the default MapReduce classes, the default reducer classes, the input formats, the output formats. Try to play with them. I'll also give you one MapReduce program. I can either share it with you today, or I will share it with you after we cover the whole MapReduce part tomorrow. So whatever way you prefer, if you want to share, I'll share with you people today only that that exercise. Try to play with that data. Try to create that MapReduce program. All you have to do is just change your mapper and reducer logic somehow, and and you have to create the ZAR. So you can play with that. I'll share that with you. That is the thing you are looking for, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I was just no within this existing jar itself. I was asking.
Okay.
I ran word count. I mean, it was not any other.
Okay. So sorry. So in the existing jar, there are a lot many files. If you look into the code folder, inside that there is a folder called MapReduce Maven project. Inside that MapReduce Maven project, there is a folder called source, and after that main, and after that Java. So if you go inside that folder, there are a lot many MapReduce codes, and all of the files which are available inside this folder are available inside this jar. I am away again.
I lost the path.
Okay. You go to the MapReduce Maven project. Are you there inside that folder?
I'm inside code folder. Okay, MapReduce Maven project. Yeah.
Inside source.
Yeah.
Main.
Yeah.
Java.
Okay. Design Hadoop.
Design Pathshala.
Yeah.
And inside Design Pathshala, there will be lot many. There is a folder called Hadoop. Sorry. And inside Hadoop, there are other folders. So if you go to the MapReduce part,
yeah,
there are lot many MapReduce classes for you. You can play with them. Word count you have just played with that. Then input format, which I've shown you in the next example. If you go inside input format, there's another example which I showed you a few minutes back. The comma separated file. It will read the comma separated file. You can read the other files also, and I'll give you one other problem where you might be using one of them to play with the data.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So Pradeep, I hope you got an output. I think Pradeep has lost. The Pradeep version 2 is there, which has no audio probably. So okay, Pradeep said thanks for all the help. Okay. So any other questions if anyone has before we wind up, or anything which you want to discuss, then we'll talk a little bit more about advanced MapReduce, and I will give you a problem tomorrow. By that time, just try to play with some of the MapReduce code which I've shared with you. Try to change that, try to export it, try to create a ZAR. Now you have got some idea how to play with that. So I've just unmuted everyone. If anyone has any questions, or you can just say goodbye.
Yes, sir. If you have any doubts, tomorrow can we come to the class early, and suppose you can be online and help us out with that, or do we have to come at the exact time?
That was Zubair, right?
Yes, sir. Zubair.
Zubair, what I'll do is I understand your doubt. What you have, I'll get the video shared with you. Just try to watch that video, and then directly ping me on the Skype or give me a call on the number which from where I called you few minutes in the break. And if required, right, awesome. then I'll help you, and if required, I'll come online also. Fine.
All right. So
okay.
Awesome. All right, so thank you very much.
Or if you have any problem, then I think Monday is a holiday over here, so I can help you on the Monday also. If you still have some issues, Monday is a holiday, so I can come online anytime also on Monday also. Okay.
Okay, sir. All right, that sounds good. Yeah, thank you.
So anyone has any other problem? I think Pradeep was able to get the output. Pawan was also able to get the output. Sorry, Pawan is facing issues. So Pawan, you try with that. If you still face issues, do drop me an email. I'll try to figure out what is the problem you're facing. Also with the problem, okay, send me the screenshot. That will help me figuring it out. What is the exact issue could be. Just send
okay.
The screenshot. Okay. Okay then. Anything else from anyone before we wind up?
No.
Okay then, guys. Thanks for all the time, and I hope that you'll enjoy the session. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
All right, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye everyone.